Hey everyone, welcome back to another Jurassic World Dominion review. Today we're taking a look at the Extreme Damage Owen and Velociraptor Blue Pursuit Pack. Look at Walmart just ignoring street dates. You don't see Mattel going after them. Anyways, this figure is available to order online from Walmart. It retails for just under $22. That's how I ended up getting this. A lot of collectors are actually finding these on shelves already. Like I said, Walmart is not iron the street date. It's supposed to be April 17th. I got lucky yesterday. I found the new T-Rex and the new Extreme Damage Rex. So if you're trying to find figures early, definitely hit your local Walmarts. And I'll leave a link down below to the Walmart listing on their site if you want to order this set. So for around 22 bucks, you get a nice 3-pack of figures. Did I really need another Blue or Owen? Nope. Do any of us? Not really. I really only got it for the new human character, Rain. I like collecting the human characters. So yeah, 22 bucks to buy one $7 figure. So anyways, let's go over the package really quick before we crack these figures open. Comes in the new Dominion style packaging. We got Rexy up here in the corner. We got a helicopter flying overhead in a nice forest background. We got the three figures front and center. Jurassic World Dominion logo on the top, on the sides of the box, blah 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 blah, and on the back we have a picture of all the figures. You can see how Blue's Extreme Damage action is activated. Owen and Rain. Down here in the corner we have the next release in the Extreme Damage line, the Allosaurus. I'm really looking forward to that one. A nice large Allosaurus figure has been desperately needed in the line, and that figure looks absolutely incredible. That should probably be out relatively soon. So enough about the packaging. Let's crack this figure open and take a closer look. And let's start with this 360-degree view of this set. I really like the Rain Delacourt figure. It's nice to have a new character to add to our collection. And you can definitely tell he's the bad guy. He's got the trench coat and the snake tattoo on the face. I'm sure he's going to have some excellent character development in the movie. Owen looks like a straight-up repaint, but he's actually not. 70% of the figure is a new sculpt, but we'll get into that a little bit later when I get into comparisons. And Blue, I've always said it with the old Battle Damage Blue figure, it's one of the best Raptor molds Mattel has done. This one is also great. The whole figure is a brand new sculpt. It's nicely painted. When it comes to Blue, Mattel does not skimp on the tail paint. Can you imagine if they did? Oof. Whole figure looks great. The toe claws are nicely painted. The blue stripe down her is nicely done with the white highlights on the edges of it. So all around, a really, really nice looking set. And let's do a couple quick measurements. Blue is about 7.5 inches long from the tip of the snout, tip of the tail, and about just under 3.5 inches tall. So Blue in Jurassic World is around 13 feet long. So I'll put this figure somewhere in the 120 scale range. Owen and Rain are your standard 3 3/4 inch figure height. And now let's first take a close-up look at the new Owen figure. At first glance, it looks like this is just a straight-up repaint of all the million of other Owen figures that we've seen over the last few years. But actually, most of this figure is a new sculpt. So let's bring out an older Owen figure first. So the only parts on this new figure that is shared with this one is the torso, the sleeves, and this arm. You can see this one right here has a watch. This one does not. The head sculpts are actually different, even though they look pretty similar. I'll bring closer in a second, show you the difference. And the jeans right here are a completely new sculpt. There's some nice texturing on here. So yeah, you're getting like 70, 80% new Owen with this figure. Not like we needed a new one, but it is what it is. And let me just bring the heads in a little bit closer. You can see there are differences with the hair and stuff. It's kind of tough with these small figures, get all those details, but the head sculpts are definitely different. The faces, look, I think this one looks like Sebastian Stain from Winter Soldier up close. I like the head sculpt on the Owen, the older Owen figures a little bit better. And the other thing I noticed on this figure, if you look on the back of the packaging, his beard is painted really, really well. When I looked, looking at him inside the box, I thought they forgot to paint his beard, but it is barely painted on there. You can see the texture, and there's just a tiny bit of like light brown dry brush, and you can barely see it. It almost looks like they forgot to paint it, but it's not really that big of a deal. And then, like most of the other Owen figures, he looks like he has like an 80s porn stash going on. So let's go take a look. Like the shirt, like I said, is the same old shirt that we've seen a bunch of times before. No watch on this arm. The jeans are really nicely done. You got a brown leather belt, some nice texturing on the jeans. He has brown shoes. In the back right here, they actually sculpted in a sheath for his knife to go in, and you do get the knife inside the package. And it's really tiny. It's taped right next to Owen, so it's easy to miss if you're just like, you know, in a rush to get this open, but it fits in nicely. Right here, some nice details on the handle. You can see some studs in there. So yeah, decent little accessory. We've definitely seen the knife before, but it's nice to have like an actual seat for it to plug into the back of. So yeah, a decent Owen figure. Did we really need it? Not really, but hey, it is what it is. Just add it to your pile. And now for Rain Delacourt. I really like this figure. He's just really, you know, refreshing looking. He has a whole new sculpt. There's no parts on him reused from any other figures. And like I said, he has to be the bad guy. I mean, look at the look. He's got the long trench coat, the snake tattoo on the face. Definitely a bad guy. Maybe he will be a friend in the movie and then later betray them. But who knows? You know, none of us knows what's going on in this movie yet. So let's zoom in and take a look at his head sculpt. I was really lazy. I did not go on IMDb and see who was playing him. So I don't know how accurate this head sculpt is, but you can see that snake tattoo just poking in a little bit from his long hair. Look, they actually painted in his beard and goatee much better than they did on the Owen figure. Some nice eyebrows. He has a dark brown button-up shirt underneath the trench coat. The trench coat is really nicely sculpted. You got some pockets on the side. He has some brown gloves on. He has some padded pants that are done in a very dark navy blue. Brown shoes. Here he is from the back. Looks like there's a little mismolding right here. You can see the brown shirt poking through, you know, just like all the other 3 3/4 inch figures. Let's zoom out a little bit more. Head can rotate. It is on a ball joint. You get a little bit of side-to-side movement. Arms can swing up. They can rotate 360 degrees. 90 degrees of bend at the elbow. He has waist articulation. Likes to move forward that far, not back much because they hit the trench coat. And even if they did, they would bang into the butt part of the sculpt, and you get about 90 degrees of bend at the knee, and you get some nice rotation on that joint. These figures will be coming obsolete once the Hammond collection figures come out with all that extra articulation, but I doubt we'll see you know, these more obscure characters in the Hammond collection line. So it's definitely be hanging on to these. I'll probably definitely stop buying the other figures once those Hammond collections figures start releasing. And here's a cool thing you can do with the Rain Delacourt figure. The Jurassic compound actually showed this the other day. You can pop the heads off and swap them. You can get Owen like in that long winter coat that we saw in the Dominion trailers. That's a cool little thing that you can do. And plus you get the immense satisfaction of tearing a head off an Owen figure. And now let's take a look at Blue. Like I said, this is another great Velociraptor sculpt. For some reason, like all the best Velociraptor sculpts end up in the battle damage line, and I think they did a really good job on here. The whole figure is a completely new sculpt. The head looks very similar to the Savage Strike Velociraptor, but it is different, even though it shares pretty much the same exact articulation. So let's zoom in on her face. You can see the nice yellow pupil with the black slit eye. The blue markings on her are nicely applied on here. They have the nice white outline on the edges. And turn her around to the other side. You can see I have a slightly misprinted eye. That's been a major issue since the line started with Mattel, and they still have not worked out the bugs with that. I have probably double digits of figures with slightly misprinted eyes or horribly misprinted eyes. It is very frustrating. Opening up the mouth, you can see the teeth are painted a nice off-white color. You have some nice red paint for the tongue and the gums. Roof of the mouth is not painted at all. Underside has a nice cream coat for the throat and belly, and that goes all the way down to just about the base of the tail. You can see more of that nice blue striping along the side. The hands are nicely sculpted. They're Not as pronated as they were on the other Raptor figures, but, you know, it's like kind of like halfway there, so not really that bad. And then going down over here on the back, you do have a little tab. This is the new way to get the DNA code to scan into the Fax app. Let me just zoom out a little bit, and there it is for those of you who don't want to scan it into the app. Some people don't like this. It doesn't really bother me. It breaks up the sculpt a little bit, but it's not that bad. It's not as bad as that sliding button that they did on the Raw Attack figures in Dino Escape. And then going down over here, you can see the little slit for that extreme battle damage. All you need to do to activate that is push the button, and you get the red insides of Blue exposed. So I do like this feature. I like the old way with the panel that slid up, but, you know, this is still a fun little feature. Going down to the legs, see the toe claws are nicely painted in a glossy dark gray paint. That blue marking goes all the way down almost to the end of the tail. So yeah, all in all, a really nice sculpt on Blue, and she does have decent articulation. Head can go down that far, up that far, mouth can open up that wide. Arms are on a hinge, so they can swing out. They can move 360 degrees. Back legs can do pretty much 360 degrees. They do have that locking point for that neutral position, and the tail can rotate for absolutely no reason at all. I really always say it, they need to add a hinge so that the tails can swing side to side. But other than that, yeah, pretty good Blue figure. I like it. I'm definitely going to replace the old battle damage one on my shelf with this one, because I feel like this one is just slightly better. All right, moving on with comparisons. First up, here is the old battle damage Blue, which I still love. So let's bring these two in just a little bit closer. You can see the new one is definitely a little bulkier and beefier. As much as I like the sculpt, I always felt like it was just a little bit too thin, but I do still like how the battle damage feature works on this by just pushing it. You get that little tumbler in there that shows the inside of Blue, and it doesn't break up the sculpt as much as it does on the extreme damage one. But like I said, both are great figures. Probably my favorite part of this older Blue. I just love that neck articulation on that joint. I'd like to see that incorporated on more figures. And here it is with the Savage Strike Velociraptor. Like I said earlier, it looks like the heads are pretty much the same, but you can see that the head on this Blue is a little bit slightly bulkier, a little bit beefier, and this the way the head inserts on the neck. It's at a different point, so you can tell it's a new sculpt. And same thing with the neck piece. It's definitely a thicker neck than it is on the Savage Strike one. Savage Strike one still is an excellent Raptor mold. And let's do a couple older battle damage figures. Here it is with the Monolophosaurus and Gasosaurus. Come on, Mattel, re-release the Gasosaurus. So many people did not get their hands on this. It's a new species, and it's just utterly ridiculous of what happened during that time frame, that these things just weren't available in the U.S. And, you know, you really can't blame Mattel. That is pretty much, you know, Walmart's fault for not ordering the figures at the time, because apparently they overordered like on the first couple waves of the battle damage figures, and they sat on shelves for like literally 2 years. So of course they weren't going to order more, but seriously, the Gasosaurus needs a re-release. And here it is with the battle damage Baryonyx, which was probably one of the laziest figures in the line, just had painted on damage. And next, here it is with the battle damage Albertosaurus, which still remains one of my favorite figures in the battle damage line. And next, here it is with the battle damage Spinosaurus. And lastly, here it is with the new Dominion T-Rex. How you doing there, buddy? Still enjoying your camper snack? So final thoughts on this extreme damage set. It's a really good set. It's fun. I like the figures it came with. Do you really need two of them? Not really, but the Blue figure is really well done. It's nicely sculpted. The extreme damage action feature works well on it. Has nice articulation. It's nice to see that the Owen figures is not a straight up repaint. You know, they remolded about 80% of the figure, and the Rain Delacourt figure is also nicely done. I always love getting new character figures to add to my collection. So yeah, a decent set all around. And plus, you can do that little kit bash and remove Owen's head and throw it on Rain's body if you want to do some photography with your figures. Like I said at the beginning of the review, set retails for around $22. The link to order that off Walmart is down below in the description. It's also being found in stores. I'm sure this thing will be all over the place once that April 17th street date rolls around. So that will do it for the review. I'm still on the hunt for more Dominion figures. Hopefully I can find a few more before the street date, and I got some new Collect Day figures coming in. So it should be a bunch of new reviews coming up on the channel, so stay tuned for those. And as always, if you're enjoying the content on this channel, show your support by hitting that subscription button just below the video. Each subscription helps out the channel tremendously, and it's greatly appreciated. And I'll see you guys for the next one.